Makotang Najan, Marmarang Tomikan Wandiwandiri and Kuminangala, Andragedi, Yamathan Yaramatang, Gilabino, Julaba. Paul McLeod, my name. I'm from the First Nations community out at the Booderee National Park they call it Jervis Bay Territory. I call it traditional name Bawetaweti Dreaming, where fresh water comes out and meets salt. Today I'm talking about the connection between our people and the ocean and all the crustaceans and the seafoods that we eat from there. Our people lived on the oceans for thousands of years in the Yuin nation on the eastern seaboard of Australia, and I just wanted to say to everybody that's listening, welcome, welcome, welcome. I've worked with a fantastic person over the years with the Marine Park Rangers. Dr. Peter Weinberg was the instigator of a project that involved traditional seaweeds from the ocean, Europa, traditional name we call ocean food, Europa. And it belongs to the Durgadaga and the Marmarang Tomikan Wandiwandirian people of the eastern seaboard, and there's many ways to pronounce foods in the ocean. Seaweeds have been in Aboriginal communities, First Nations communities, since time immemorial. We've used it in healing, in medicines. Peoples from all different parts of the globe, they all have an affiliation with seaweed. I believe that the best seaweed comes from out here off the eastern seaboard, where there's two big volcanoes in the ocean that we studied when we was with the marine parks, and it's got this beautiful nutritional taste that I'm hooked on it. Because our people have been connected so much to the salt water and that we have a great understanding of the ocean. We live off the crustaceans, the lobsters, abalones, or muttonfish we call them. They're all full of different nutritional value that is sustainable, keeps you healthy, because our First Nations people, we have a high intake from all the foods that we were rationed on years and years ago, where it gave us cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes. When McDonald's come to town, everybody was mad about it, and it changed our whole diet because we couldn't hunt and gather the way we used to. But when the seaweed came back in, it's an opportunity that no one should miss. It's full of vitamins, medicines and everything. So we used to do trade, go up the mountains, over onto the plains, and the food wouldn't last very long, so most of it was eaten on the way up. And there's a bit of a joke where the people say, "Where's the seafood?" And we used to say, "Well, you see the food and you eat it." So it's ironic because it was used in trade, but with seaweed, you can dry it out and then you can eat it later on when you add water with it. And it had this sustenance in there that sort of gave you this energy boost as well. And like I said, it was good for sores and cuts and everything else. So it used to be carried in a little dilly bag, but it was dried and it was wrapped with other different plants from the bush that made it more susceptible to carry in longer distances. I was told little bits and pieces from my grandfather, which he learned off his grandfather, and then my great-great-grandmothers did a lot of medicines with the seaweed as well. So there's a long affinity with seaweed and with the foods from the ocean. And yes, abalone shells, pipi shells, all the different crustaceans, and some of them were even wrapped and put in burial when they did traditional burials with some of the people, our peoples who passed. And today, if their middens are dug up, you'll still see them there, but we don't remove our people from the earth, we just leave them in the ground, and from the land you come and there you shall return. So when you look at it, seaweed worldwide is, I reckon it's the basis for all the oceanic wildlife that live in there, thrive on it. And it's not taking too much out of the ocean, it's using the ocean and giving back to the environment at the same time. If you had a shop that promoted fresh oceanic foods, seafoods, you know, the ocean's clean, it washes itself. The tides go worldwide, they do a full circle and they come back to where they started. And the thing is, when you look at that and you see them foods and you promote them foods, why would you want to eat anything else when you're living longer, you're healthier? You see a person like Auntie Jean who still goes fishing with a hand line, catches fish, comes home, carries the fish, cleans them, eats them. The thing is, our First Nations people, Aboriginal people, and I think I speak for people worldwide, Indigenous people worldwide. I don't like the word Indigenous, I like the word First Nations people, because they're the first of their people in their nation. And there couldn't have been any nationality around the world that lived off the land. And it's about time we went back, we give back to the mother, to the land, and then you look after it, and then we look at it on a global challenge, and we also make sure that the world is protected so that our people, our next generations and generations and generations still have the same benefit as we did when we were growing up as children. When I talked about the fresh water coming down and meeting the salt, you've got to understand that those freshwater crustaceans mixed with the saltwater crustaceans, they jump on the back of whales, dolphins, sharks, guttiga we call all them sea anemones, and then they travel worldwide and they connect them song lines together, and then they start singing. All the First Nations peoples will understand what I'm talking about because they have the same stories. They have the same stories of cultural connection to country, and country means where you come from within that country. It could be down the road about 100 kilometres or it could be down the road 3,000 kilometres, but it's still the same country. It's the one mother worldwide that breastfeeds oxygen to every living thing, and so we've got to give back and we've got to make sure that we're protecting everything that lives around us. She always asks me tricky questions. I'll eat any food. Worldwide, I've been traditionally dancing and I've eaten food all around the world, but nothing better than the seaweed from Oz, land down under.
We started the first seaweed farming together.
We did.
We brainstormed it in the office of the marine parks.
We did.
We're going to make this journey happen.
We're not going to stop.